Hey everybody, my name is Lynn Delgadio and I am an integrative health and mindset coach. And I want to share something with you today quickly. So my story started 5 short years ago when I suffered a traumatic brain and spinal cord injury. And in the initial weeks following that injury, I learned something really profound really quickly that really changed my life. So in those initial weeks following the injury, I wasn't allowed any stimulation. No TV, no phone, no music, no light, no nothing. It was just me alone with my thoughts. And what I learned was that when any stressor, when any stressful thought, whether it be people expressing their anger about what had happened to me, or me thinking about my very quickly mounting medical bills, whenever something like that entered my field, I would feel the internal head pressure, the nausea, the dizziness, the eye pain, as if I was being re-traumatized. It didn't feel good. That was not going to help my healing. But when I was able to calm my mind or just think pleasant thoughts, like me sifting my toes through the sand at the beach or holding a puppy or my beautiful dog buddy, oh, that made me feel so good. And I just kind of realized something really simple, really quickly. When I think bad thoughts, I feel bad. And when I think good thoughts, I feel good. And you know what? I prefer to feel good. Not only does it feel better, but it's going to help me in the healing process. But the other thing that I learned was that, wow, I get to pick. I get to select. I get to choose what I want to think about. That was mind-blowing. And we all have this power. I just realized it. In my, forced meditative state, I get to choose what I want to think about and how I think impacts how I feel. It was amazing to me. Sent me on this journey of self-realization and self-actualization and true empowerment. Never felt anything like it. So I have a question for all of you. And that is, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? What were you thinking the other day when you woke up and had to go to work? Oh, I don't want to go to work. I hate my job. Oh, God. What am I going to eat? What were you thinking this morning when you got up? I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to work. What am I going to wear? And how many minutes, or seconds for that matter, lapsed between the time that you swiped or hit your alarm and picked up your phone and started checking social media, WhatsApp, text messages, Twitter, Facebook? Oh, Cheryl's eating carbs again. Really? Tom and Trish? Another vacation? Oh, Maldives? Give me a break. My life sucks. What? Nobody liked my post? That was a funny... I think it was funny. Maybe it wasn't that funny. I mean, I'm kind of a fun... Well, maybe I'm not that funny person. I don't know. I'm pretty boring. Nobody likes me. And what were you thinking when you turned on the television and saw another mass shooting, stock market plummeting, another natural disaster, government? I mean, not that government's a natural disaster, but what were you thinking? God, we're all screwed. Oh my God, I'm losing all my money. I'm so afraid. What were you thinking when you got in the car to go to work in traffic? God, my husband or my ex is such a pain, or stop texting and driving. Expletive. And you get to work and you sit at the same computer, the same desk, and you see the same people, and you go drink the same stale coffee from the same break room, and you get back to your computer and you think, oh, my life stinks. Oh, my job stinks. No. It's not your job that stinks. It's not your life that stinks. It's your thinking. See, our thinking impacts the lens through which we view the world, and that which gets reflected back to us. It's all a product of our thinking. Now, neuroscientists suggest that we have anywhere from 70 to 80,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of thoughts. And science also suggests that the vast majority of these thoughts are negative. They limit us from being all that we can be. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or this is too hard, or whatever it may be. And most of these thoughts are the same thoughts repeated day after day after day. The problem is about 95% of them are in our subconscious, so we're not really aware of them. Now, following my injury, I was fortunate because, I know that sounds strange, because I was fully aware. I was really fully aware of these thoughts that were going through my mind. It was like a forced meditative state. But a lot of us aren't even aware. But let me tell you, if every time we had a negative thought, it appeared on our clothing, we'd be tearing those suckers right off. We wouldn't want people to see all these negative thoughts that we're holding about ourselves. But we are truly cloaked mentally in negative thinking, right? So why is this important? Why do we care, right? Oh, we've been living, I'm doing okay. Are we? As a health coach, people say to me often, I just feel I want to be the best version of myself. I get that we all do, right? But I also hear, I just feel like I'm separate from this other person. Right, you are. I always say, it's okay, there's something missing. It's you. Because over time, through these thoughts and beliefs, we tell ourselves a story about who we are. We create this personality that we define as ourself, our identity. And we kind of lose grip of that essence of who we came here to be, right? That kind of separation between us, this personality we are, and what our true essence is. So that's all a product of our thinking. So why do we care again? Well, our thoughts really impact our well-being. Huge. Our thoughts directly impact our well-being and our overall health. Now, every time we have a thought, there is a chemical, biological, hormonal response in your body. So, for instance, we have a good thought. The brain produces feel-good hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, growth factor, others. There's a number. And then we have this feeling and emotion in the body that triggers a signal back to the brain. Oh, this feels good. And the brain's like, awesome. Everything's good. End of story. Now, we have negative thinking, though. And science suggests that 60 to 70% of us are in a chronic, elevated state of stress. That's so unhealthy, but not hard to believe in this recent history of breaking news, high alert. We're all under so much stress, and stress is such a dangerous, it's an epidemic in this country and the world, but especially in the Western world. But when we have negative thinking, though, the brain produces stress chemicals, like we all know about cortisol, right? That produces a very different reaction in the body, and the body gets this not good feeling, which triggers a signal back to the brain, and the brain says, oh, anxiety, body's having anxiety, psh, more chemicals. And there's an even more redundant feedback loop. And why is this important? Because when this happens, the brain can actually downregulate genes that trigger disease. Now, the new science, and it's not even that new, folks. It's been around for 30 more years. It's not that the majority of disease is not because our DNA tells us we're going to get this disease. Guys, that was a theory in the late 50s that somehow got into the textbooks, but it was never proven scientifically. Don't believe me. I'm not a scientist. You can go do your own research and find out. The vast majority is through our lifestyle choices and our thinking. We have power, but because of theories like this, we've given our power away. We've given it away, but it's time to take it back, guys. It's time to take our power back. So I'm a health coach, and I help people to shift their limiting beliefs and thoughts, and we all have them. I've heard people say, I don't really have any limiting beliefs. Yeah, you do. Every one of us does. Now, are they going to go away fully? No. But you learn how to raise awareness and take control and really use deliberate thought to create an awesome reality. Some of us already have awesome realities, and that's fantastic. Some people out there understand this intuitively, like they don't need to understand the science. And that's totally awesome. That's great. That's whatever works. Like, you know that if you turn on the light switch, you're going to get light. You don't need to understand how electricity works. But there are tricks and tools to help you shift your beliefs if you're feeling kind of stuck in your life, or not maybe living the life you want to live, or just need to like some balance in your life. And man, I understand. I was in corporate America most of my life, and I understand the challenges. But when you get to a better place with your thinking, man, everything changes. Your job satisfaction, your fulfillment, your creativity. And, just for a minute, the example that I was giving about this reaction in your body, this is true on a larger scale. This is true in business. Okay. So if you've got, maybe it's a less than optimal culture, maybe there's poor signals from the C-level, which is the brain of the organization, into the body, the employee base. If you've got, let's say you've got positive signaling, right? You've got inspired creativity instead of fear-based motivation. If you've got good signals, then that employee base is going to send really positive feedback, like less absenteeism, increased retention, alignment with vision and goals. What does that mean? Better profits. But if you've got poor signaling, maybe there's a lot of fear-based motivation. Maybe there's other less than optimal ways of signaling your employee base. Well, what's your feedback going to be then? Increased absenteeism, more reaction versus response, increased or decreased retention, and lower profits. And there are myriad consultants that, out there, including myself, that help people and businesses look into this, their own thinking and their own personality, their own corporate personality, because we all have one. How could we not? Because every business is made up of individuals, and every individual has a personality. So that collective personality kind of creates the personality of the company. So in my healing process, I learned that I literally needed to redesign my own mind. Literally. I redesigned and rewired my circuitry, and everything changed. So, do you need a mind redesign? Does your business need a mind redesign? Just want to get you guys started to start thinking about what you're thinking about. And I have, you can find me on lynndelgaudio.com, lynndelgaudio.com, or yes2yourhealth.fit. That's all spelled out. Yes2yourhealth.fit. I have a new book out on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, IndieBound, Books A Million. There's a number of booksellers. It's called Altered on Impact. And it's the story of my injury and then my journey from trauma to transformation, and how this injury led me to really live a far more purposeful life. And in the book, not only do I tell my story, but I offer tips and tools, very practical exercises that people can take home and use on their own, or with, if you're a coach yourself, with your clients. Really powerful stuff. I really hope you've enjoyed this. And if you buy my book, I hope you enjoy it as well. Thanks for listening. I'm Lynn, and I'll see you next time.